Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 60 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Jeff, and alongside me again are the, what do I have? Zicky Dice and Manny Lemons to my Brian Myers. It's Craig and Max. Max and Craig. What's going on, guys?
Not much. I'm not sure which of those two is the better option, unfortunately.
One has lemons.
I'm taking Zicky Dice. I'm taking Zicky Dice. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Usually I get to pick which one I want. This time I'll let
That
Craig.
would make it maybe... Who's the fourth? Maybe Lucha is Sam Beal then? What a lucky guy.
I would rather be
you
Sam
could be
Beal.
Who
given the
gives a
option.
shit?
Hey, whatever.
Well, it's good to have you back, Max. Let's start with that. What you watching, man?
Right now I'm watching Penn State versus Indiana college football. It's college football season, and since my Steelers aren't doing well, I've already given up on the NFL, so it's on to college. Number one overall pick, here we come.
So have I. We have a lot to talk about. As I said, it is episode 60. So, damn, we've put in 60. Hey, there we go. Lucha jumps in for the audio listeners. Lucha just jumped in the chat here to say he got dibs on Beal. So I but yeah, actually I'll use that as a quick segue. Yeah, so we're on episode 60. We got a lot of stuff coming up for Bound for Glory week. We'll have a schedule out next week for you guys, but we'll have some top 10 main events from Craig, bringing back Let's Get Personal, or whatever he's going to call it now. We'll also all be tag teaming and working together doing this unofficial Impact board game. And then a pre-show and a review show and a bunch of other things in between, including unboxing. That's where I'm going. At the very end of this show, stay tuned if you're interested. It's a minute and 30-second commercial that I made, or that we made for TNAIW for Impact's pins. There you go. You can see the pins that I have on there. So Impact's pins, pushing them. Go check it out, shopimpact.com, and stay at the very end to listen to that. Craig, get me out of this. What's the numbers, man, friend?
So, yes, it's me. It's the MIC Craig, aka Mr. Impact, for your TNAIW channel. And of course, we're back once again, and we're live here on Twitch, but we're here, we're there, and we're everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Sounder, Spotify, and wherever else you podcast. As you can see, just below Max are this week's numbers, heading in the right direction, but I'm sure Jeff can give us a bit more details on them, because I still can't see.
Yes, I can see. Got a lot of CO2 in America, Craig. I don't know what that means. We're up on Twitch, Twitter, excuse me. As always, the Twitter community, we love you. Chat group, you as well. Hopefully you guys make it into this chat group here. If we're live, pal, yeah. 2,835. As we said last week, our goal is 3,300. So 3,000 for Twitter. So we need another 165. We can do that. I really believe that before Bound for Glory. And then as far as the 300, that's for YouTube. So we're at 222, which is lucky in its own right. But we're looking to get to 300 by Bound for Glory. We were up 3 from last week. So hit us up there. All in all, we're back to our numbers, cracking 200 for each episode. Thank you guys. We could not do this without you. I guess unless we sit there and click our own public, go to the library and click all the,
Right. Listen to it 150 times, just me. So really, we don't have any listeners. It's just me listening to it over and over again. I have 2,835 alts. I'm like Kevin Durant on Twitter.
And all those flags, if you're wondering where Max goes from every other Saturday, he's traveling the world.
I'm actually Lucha too. It's just a computer. It's CGI. When he's on, it's actually just a CGI image.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
Just a shit out of box.
Craig, why do you Craig, we have a lot to talk about. Why don't you kick us to? Oh, actually, let me mention that because she just popped up in the chat there. our friend is dealing with some things as far as family, so that's obviously comes first and foremost. Sending our love to her. She's right there. Send your love to her as well. She's not doing the voiceover for the power rankings. Unfortunately, it's this guy. But Craig, if you want to throw it to him.
Yep, so it's time for those power rankings. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let us know. If you want to join the power rankings committee, then hit us up on Twitter or anywhere you see us. I'm sure we can add you to the power rankings committee. This week's power rankings.
Number 10, Madman Fulton. Number 9, the debuting Alex Zane. Number 8, Bound for Glory, Josh Alexander. Number 7, Triple A's Laredo Kid. Number 6, The Influence. Number 5, Hardcore Country, Mickey James. Number 4, Eddie Edwards. Number 3, The Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. Number 2, Champ Deanna Perrazzo. And number 1, Spider Trey Miguel.
I don't hate him.
I'm noticing a trend that the Impact champion is just disrespected week after his power rankings. I'm noticing it's not just a Kenny Omega thing. It's just the Impact champion disrespected.
We need to figure out some kind of algorithm. Originally, we had the one, if you've been with us since day one, we originally had this thing where each win and loss mattered, and each how you won it. If you won a title, if you lost a title, if you got a title defense. So it was intricate. And it just, it's too much. So we went with this rankings committee, and you get what you get. Craig, do you agree? And by the way, shout out to Trey Miguel. First, not only first top 10 in a bit, but also number 1, his first number 1 in the 2 years we've been doing this. So awesome. Spider Trey.
Yeah,
Spider Trey.
I don't mind it. I'm good with the power rankings. I mean, VSK should still be on there, but I'll let that slide for now.
We'll get to him.
But it's fine.
We'll get to it.
But I guess we should start with these hot topics. Kicking off with, of course, this week's Impact on Access TV. Trey Miguel defeats Laredo Kid and Alex Zane to go on to Bound for Glory for the Triple Threat X Division Championship match. The Influence defeated Jordan Grace and Rachel Ellering to become number 1 contenders for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships at Knockouts Knockdown. The Good Brothers proposed a number 1 contenders match for their tag team titles between the Bullet Club and Finjuice. Deanna Perrazzo and Mickey James decided to have a fight on a farm. Christopher Daniels defeats Madman Fulton. Scott D'Amore, with the biggest heel move, shuts down Swingers Palace. Heath returned with Rhino, who's still not answering VBD's question. The Digital Media Championship was announced. Also, in the main event, Eddie Edwards defeats W. Morrisey, but Moose and Morrisey decide to beat the crap out of Eddie. But shout out to Lucha for the assist with Eddie there.
That TNA World title, that throwback.
Thoughts, feelings, what stand-up moment for you of the show, Jeff?
Bastards. Max is happy because he gets to go first on the digital media.
That's right.
Son of a bitch. No, I'm happy to go first with this because just there's so much I want to point out, and I don't want to lose it. Obviously we already gave Trey his props. One, I'm glad he's finding himself, which is awesome and apparent each week. We started the show off with a banger. I mean, and not only that, I'll just kind of run all over the place as I bipolarly do. Generally do, but it just felt like we went from a triple threat, and excuse me if I'm not going in the correct order about what I'm about to say, but I'm just kind of jumping. We had this triple threat to crown, or to name the first of the 3 competitors that will challenge for the X Division title at Bound for Glory, the vacant one. So not only did it have that allure to it, because I don't read spoilers, but like, okay, that's exciting. We're going to find out one of them. Not only is it Trey, which I'm happy with, not only was Alex Zane there, and did Laredo Kid tear it up with them, and then on top of that, we go right after that, and I'm like, damn, Laredo Kid ate the pin, and then we go to the Drama King, who's backstage talking insanity and intelligence, and about making something a Laredo Kid and his mask and his art form and his lucha leap. Fucking genius stuff. Okay, now is it gonna change the game? No, it's just that continuity and execution that this Impact group has that we didn't have for quite a while. It's night and day, and I really dig where we're going with each of these storylines. Now you can obviously tell what's been changed. A little bit feels odd or misplaced, and Sammy's injury, I'm sure, had a lot to do with that. I saw a lot of people say, oh, we're going to see Eddie versus Morrisey again in a street fight. Well, there was the one that Sammy broke his ankle and leg on was a street fight tag team match. So I'm guessing this was the replacement. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So that's one thing I wanted to say there. But it also obviously changed Sammy in the back getting his leg moved and then to the ambulance. So it obviously changed Bound for Glory. Is that why we're getting grainy-ass videos from the Good Brothers in some Motel 6? I don't know. But it does feel random, and it doesn't feel as produced as the rest of the show. So I'm wondering if it's a travel, or it's just maybe it was supposed to be Sammy and Eddie that were getting those shots. But I don't know how I feel about just saying, all right, Bullet Club and Finjuice. Now, granted, Finjuice may be getting a few more consistent wins than Bullet Club. I just don't like them saying, okay, you guys can be number one contender. I don't know. I know obviously it ends with Scott D'Amore. I don't know if it's official. Craig, I'm sure you could correct me on that. Did they make it official, like in a match?
No, it's just proposed. Okay. It's just proposed.
Okay. Okay, so, obviously ends and begins in kayfabe with Scott D'Amore, so we'll see what he says. But I didn't dig that. I thought the show was hit or miss in some places as far as momentum, but once again, it gave you what it felt like? You remember when we would do all these cutaways and we would go to, now we're live at Defy and we're having a match, and you know what I mean? Like, where it was just kind of didn't all feel together. That's what this felt like a little bit, and maybe it was because of the Sammy injury is what I'm trying to get into as a whole. But the Deanna and Mickey. So, obviously there wasn't going to be she's going there in a white, both of them wearing white tank tops. They weren't just going to shake hands and hug it out. You knew something was going to, happen, and obviously it did. And I thought it was good. I thought it was nicely executed. I give props to Mickey for keeping her husband inside while it was being taped, because the segment would have instantly got a fucking thumbs down. No, Nikki James is all right, I guess. But yeah. Long story short, because obviously I want to get to Max, and there's other things we want to get to. I just thought it was another entertaining episode of Impact on Access TV. Smooth, you watch it. There's some memorable things. Oh yeah, Heath returning. Did I even mention that shit? So there's just a little bit for everyone, which is what they're doing. But it felt like they're building for Bound for Glory, which it makes sense.
So also Christopher Daniels returns.
Yeah, first match back in 7 years.
I do have a question, because he won with best moonsault ever, which I love that move. Was that ever his finishing move in TNA, or was that just like a signature move and then Angel Wings was his finisher move?
If
finishing,
the BME was generally the finisher.
It was okay. For some reason I thought it was Angel Wings. Maybe, yeah, but either way,
I remember it as a transitional move in 2012.
Okay.
It was more transitional.
I think in NWA TNA it was definitely Angel Wings.
It was okay. So I liked him winning with that, because it really is, to me, it's kind of like if AJ would come back and win with Spiral Tap. I think it's just one of those moves that you're like, oh my gosh, it's so cool. So I think I was happy that he won. Once again, starting with Trey and the X Division is great. I think the best thing about this X Division tournament is one of the great things about when you have multi-man X Division matches is it gives you the opportunity to highlight multiple X Division people. So obviously at Bound for Glory, you're going to have a three-way, and having the matches to determine who's going to be in there just gives you the opportunity to show off all your X Division talent. So whoever ends up coming out with the X Division champion at the end of Bound for Glory, you're still going to be able to say, hey, look at all these guys that we have that we can now potentially set up for a great match because look at all these amazing matches they did. I do think it's a possibility. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago that we talked about who we see winning it. And I think Trey might be Trey's time. I think with, I really think it is. I think, like you said, G, he's coming into his own. I did think that this episode did a good job of kind of setting some things up for Bound for Glory. Obviously, Trey got his part in there. The Digital Media Championship, which I'm going to talk about that next. I'm just going to say nothing more about that, but we'll get that title match. Obviously, we're assuming Good Brothers versus somebody. In there as well. So they did a good job of setting things up there. The one thing I will say about the Good Brothers is I would be excited for them to face Bullet Club, except the only thing is, I think it was maybe a month or 2 months ago when they had at New Japan, when they were talking about Gorillas of Destiny came out and challenged them. And if they wrestle a different group of Bullet Club that's not Gorillas of Destiny, it feels like a missed opportunity for your first elite versus Bullet Club matchup as being not those two. So that's my only concern with it is
one. Yeah, no, I want to get your opinion still on what you're talking about. Wonder if, and I never thought about this till you mentioned, Bullet Club wins a title shot at Bound for Glory, but when they come out, they're like, we just can't go tonight. Boom, God comes out.
See, now that would be amazing. That would be awesome. Unfortunately, in Impact, I really want Chris Bay, whatever Bullet Club does, for him to be the anchor of Bullet Club in Impact. So as much as I would love God versus the Good Brothers, I would much rather prefer Chris Bay and insert other Bullet Club member being the ones that challenge it, or at least the ones that like kind of make their mark. Unless Chris Bay does something on his own at Bound for Glory, that would be fine with that. But I do agree with you that it does feel a little bit weird. And injuries happen, and I do think that it's smart of them, and it's if they realize that this injury happened and there was supposed to be a match that they're now like, we've got to scrap it and change it. Good for them to be like, hey, let's go ahead and film some stuff, get some stuff up there and build it, as opposed to doing what WWE did when Becky Lynch returned and just being like, hey,
right
out of nowhere, here's a match. Like, at least they're working it, but I think that's smart. The Heath thing, I thought that was really cool. I'm really interested to see where that goes. I want to know if it's going to be Violent by Design versus Heath at Bound for Glory, with Rhino finally switching over and joining Heath. I think like him coming back now, it just makes too much sense that that's what they're going for, and the way Rhino's acting.
The one thing I want to, and I didn't, obviously in my rambling here, if this was talking points, Max, you'd be way up ahead in points. But I got to give kudos to the writing crew again, the booking committee, whatever the fuck you want to call them, creative. You could have easily, and I talked about this last week, Rhino's getting beat down in the Battle Royal. Who's coming out in that number 20 or number 19, whatever the fuck it is? Heath, and he makes the save, and okay, boom. Then they get their tag title shot. Wonderful moment we were supposed to get last year. And that's basic and, okay, a little bit outside the box, but not too far. The old Impact would have not thought of something like this. The old Impact would have done the simple setup of, oh, he's back, clothesline over, they clear house together, back to back, oh, hugs, This is storytelling. We are not waiting. We don't need to wait 4 weeks to know that we're going to have Heath and Rhino versus them. or excuse me, we don't need to know right now and build for 4 weeks. We can know in 1 week prior and the turn be right there. You know what I mean? Like, up till the point, you're like, oh shit, now that's added too. I think that's just a different level of booking that I've seen from any management crew so far. So I'm really excited about that, and you bringing that up.
No, and I agree. And a lot of times with returns, they have stuff, especially when you have a battle royal. It's the perfect time for a return. So that's what and I do think that the fact that this isn't the return at the battle royal is a good thing, because if you do have special returns, it gives you the opportunity to make them still be at the battle royal. But two, you're right. It gives us some time to set things up, but it's not Heath and Rhino for 4 weeks versus Violent by Design. Right now, it's Heath versus Violent by Design, and then in that time frame, you can slowly evolve that into what your final thing is going to be. And like you said, even if the Thursday before Bound for Glory, Rhino turns and joins Heath, it doesn't matter, because the storyline has been building. You don't need to do. I mean, I know hate to take a shot at him, but you don't need to do the WWE thing where you say it's these guys versus these guys, and for 4 weeks you're just going to fight each other until the paper. You don't need to do that. It's the slow build. I think Impact's
really just to wrap that up. I know Craig, we're going way over. Sorry, but what you're saying, I have to say, because you're coming up with a great idea. Wonder if they do a double switch, which would be even fucking cooler. Which is Heath is against VBD. Is Rhino going to join Heath? Is he going to, whatever? And then Heath is the one that Rhino does turn, and he's a face, and then Heath turns and joins VBD.
That would be interesting.
And the reason
too.
Think about it.
That would be interesting.
Okay? One, we don't know if he was taken out for a year. I'm guessing they're gonna, because that door shuts. Obviously, they did it to not hurt him because he was already injured. They needed a way to film him off. But it was really interesting to me, thinking the paranoid person I am, that Heath came down and hit every member, which, to fair is fair, Diener had nothing to do with it, right? For going back. He wasn't even a member yet. But this group that took him out is a group that my partner joined up with. How pissed off would that make you when you're rehabbing, if that's where we're going with that, for a year? I would be livid. So I think that's a good end. But let's get to this this belt.
All right, so let's get to the digital media. I'm going to start that one. So first, the good. I love the way the title looks. I think it's a really beautiful title. A lot of people said it reminded them of the AEW title. And I will say, like, when you first look at it, it does a little bit, mostly the side plates. But when you actually, like, kind of pull it out and actually, like, look at it, it really isn't the same as the AEW. But it's a really nice looking title. I love the format, and I love the fact that it's intergender. And they say from the go, it's intergender. Anybody can go for this thing. So I think it's awesome that they put that out there, because when those matches do happen, it's not like a weird or big thing. It's just like, oh, this is what this title is. Anybody in Impact can go for it. So I think that's really cool. Now let's talk about the negatives. That name is ass. Straight up butt cheeks. I am 99% sure a toddler could give you two random words that you could piece together to make a better name for that title. I tried to get two random words from a toddler, but unfortunately Jeff did not get those for me, so I'll get those for you next week. But let me give you some names that you could have potentially used instead that I think would have been great. The Impact Grand Championship. The Impact Legends, or the TNA Legends Championship. The TNA Global Championship. The TNA King of the Mountain Championship. Just the TNA Championship. Anything other than the Internet Championship. Anything other than the digital media title. Because that name is shit.
I get to go? Okay.
It's your turn.
And then we'll let Craig give his thing too. First, I will say this. When I first heard it, it was literally like my daughter stepped on my dick. Like, just like, like I was just like, why is this? Okay. And that might sound awkward to people who don't have kids, but when you have kids, you'll know what the fuck I'm talking about. Just all day. So anyways, I was so disappointed that I wanted to turn off the TV. being the homer I am, of course I stay. But here is the difference between this championship and all the ones you named. They've already been done. Okay? I thought when I took a step back from my own pride and said, okay, Jeff, maybe your booking is just generic. These are named Intercontinental, European, North American, TV title, IC title. All these fucking ones, these people are saying Pornhub title, Butterfinger title. You know, there's so many ones that are always used. No, but seriously. It's just, we could have went the cliche route. And we could have made everyone happy. And we could have said, oh, it's the IC title, so I know that means it's the mid-card title. I don't think that's what this is at all. I think this is a TV title, which if anyone of my WCW fans, old heads out there knows, that TV title, or for you WWE or F heads at the time, European title, it's just that one before the Intercontinental. It's one below.
One below. Yeah, it's a step below the X Division is what it's going to be.
It doesn't mean it's not prestigious. It depends on how they book it. So, taking it that way, if I put my own feelings aside and say, okay, let's move on to something new. Is digital media a championship really that bad? Well, yes and no. I say, eventually, you would say, if it's a TV title, but that we no longer do TV because our focus is on our building insiders and all of that in our app, then digital media is what we should name it instead of TV. Okay? So, if you're trying to brand it differently, what would you use instead of digital media? That was my issue, and that's still my issue. If we have a deal in place that's large, I'm not saying it's going to be the Hulu championship next week, and I hope they don't change it because I don't want to see that. Oh, what's it this week? Haha, Nate called. I had that before, as you already aforementioned there. So, I think it needed to happen. I just don't know if we have a deal in place or if this is just it, that they couldn't come up with something different. So I don't mind it. The DM title or DM championship is kind of a double entendre. It goes back to the TNA days. I'm okay with it.
All right, so first off, the person who needs to win this is Matt Cardona. Because he already created this title back in WWE and nothing ever happened with it.
It was his own title, though.
So it's still. And what they should have called it, if you're looking for a name, is the YouTube Championship. And then all the matches take place on YouTube because they have the impacting where you pay for it.
Well, the problem with that is they still want to push. They obviously, in the press release mentioned, they're still pushing their app. It doesn't mean. So it just at the end of the day, look. So let's get to the other stuff because we haven't touched on that. It's obviously 6 matches that lead to 6 people to fight at before the Glory. So it's a pre-show match. So obviously TV title-ish sense, that level. But if you see the people involved, it's people who haven't taken that step to X Division Championship yet. I think we have Crazy Steve and Zicky Dice, John Schuyler.
Let me look. Hold on.
Hernandez.
John Schuyler or Zicky Dice versus Hernandez or Crazy Steve versus to be determined. So That's what I have online. So it's Hernandez or Crazy versus Crazy Steve.
It's all those people that could use a little bit of something that aren't going for the prestigious X Division title. I think this is them telling us that the X Division title is that, and then the women's and men's is on the same time. Now,
do you think a knockout wins it as the first person?
I think this title is custom made to be around Tenille's waist. I think what you do with it, and I don't think that's the answer. What they are going to go with. Who has the biggest following on Twitter, on Instagram, on social media, on digital media? Period. It's her. So why wouldn't you give that to her? If I'm wrong about the numbers and it's someone else, it should go to that motherfucker. But that's what this is about. Outreach. It's going to be defended on Plus. It's going to be defended on YouTube. It's going to be defended, and I'm guessing outside of Impact as well. So, and by the way, I wish the 6-man at Bound for Glory was elimination style. I know why we don't do that, because you're making 5 people lose compared to 1 person take the pin. I get that, but I miss elimination style matches, and I just wish it was that. That's my only thing on that. As far as the belt itself, I want to make it very clear. It does resemble the AEW title. But the AEW title resembles the IWGP title. So, or the old one. So everyone has inspiration from somewhere, okay? But if you look at the guy who made it...
Somebody said the person who made him the AEW title also made it. I
don't know if Two Bros made it, but if they did, regardless, there's obviously the craftsmanship, obviously, continuity. But they wanted to make it look like a cloud. It has its wireframe on there from the circuit. Like, it's really cool. I dig with the look of it. There's 2 owls faces.
Yeah, it's a really cool title.
And then you know what I like too is that they use rubies in it, which is kind of a wink to me for the Legends title. So I thought that was pretty cool because they originally had the rubies in it.
Could have been the Legends title.
Yeah. And only Legends wrestle for it.
All right. So just before we move on, I think that Digital Media Championship, I think it had a name. I think it had a sponsor. But because I think, of what I can tell, there's a sticker. It's an Impact sticker on the top. I don't think it's... It looks like when they changed the GFW title to the Impact,
can we get that up? Is there a way?
I think that's how...
Okay.
I'm going to look here.
Yeah, we'll get it up.
I think that title had a name before.
Just to be clear.
It looks a lot like, on the poster, it looks a lot like a sticker.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the physical championship outside.
Pull it up, yeah, what's up?
But, yeah, moving on to number 3. In an interview, W. Morrisey stated that he wants to stay with Impact for the long haul. Should Impact sign him for that long haul? Is he a good fit? How does it work out, Jeff?
I mean this with all... no, I'll stay away from that. I'll just say, as the mental side of it, if he's happy and he's comfortable with Impact and he's healthy there, and stay. He should stay. For him, from his standpoint. From Impact's standpoint, if you could get the deal done, get the deal done. I've been an advocate of his since day one of him coming in. He looks great. The point I was going to make, and I tried to shy away from, was if the views and opinions. Sorry, to the people in audio land, in the chat's just funny. So hit us up on YouTube and subscribe while you're there. We need 78 more to hit our goal. All right. Yeah. The only thing I was going to say in a joking manner, but kind of serious, is as long as Impact doesn't institute any kind of drug screening when it comes to steroids and stuff, fuck it, because obviously he's on the roids, but allegedly. But if they're gonna stay in this land, they're not going corporate anytime soon. Which I'm just trying to think of the outside of things. I think he's a great dude. I think he's good in the ring. I think he's there. Hey, Max pulling it up. There we go. Digital Media.
All right.
I don't mean to. Just to wrap that up. I like Morrisey. I want him to stay. I hope he does. If he's happy here, that makes me happy. All right, Max.
I think he should come. I hope he comes back or signs permanently. I think he's been a good addition. He looks like an absolute monster. And he seems to be doing better mentally than he did at other places. And I think for me, that's the most important thing. He has definitely improved from his time in WWE, both on the mic as well as in the ring. So obviously that's good. And if he has the issues he had, if those are behind him and Impact has given him a place where he can wrestle and doesn't have to, and those things don't come back up, I really do hope he signs, because I think he could be a good long-term addition and possibly someone who doesn't necessarily need a title to make his mark. Like Abyss never needed a title. so you can put him in feuds and he can just kind of do those things. So I really hope he does sign. I like the guy. I'm hoping maybe Enzo shows up. I think that would be fun, or Ian. I don't know what his name is now.
You're losing me, my friend. I was gonna say you're way up. Enzo's just unlike Morrisey, who I feel confident in saying I think he's a good dude, and I think he's on the right path. I don't know Enzo. I don't know him either. But you know what I mean?
That's
like
true.
you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not talking about a permanent thing. I just think maybe a little run with them together for like 3 months, and then him go with that. But I think that would be a good thing. So we'll see.
I think he's championship material. I just think he needs to.
I do too.
There's going to be something. Maybe Enzo it comes into that, but there would be something cool with him with a manager, especially. But I like he's talking well. He's acting well. Good for him. That's all I can say.
Him and Moose would make a great
tag.
They're
together.
Like they would make I'm talking about like a legitimate hey, we're gonna get the titles and have a run. I think those two as just a monster tag team would be a good run to have for a period.
Running it back. Remember that storyline that obviously Aries left and it kind of fizzled, and then Cross left. But with Moose and Cross and Aries, I think they're going to be a 3. There's one more space for someone. I said that about Myers, and it was right. I'm going to say it about this. Visually, aesthetically, they need another big in that group, and I hope to God. If Braun Strowman comes in, or former Braun Strowman, I think that they would be who wouldn't talk about that group? These are monsters. 3 monsters. 3 titans of wrestling. All right, but I like him. I like that. Let's go to the belt really quick for the audio. Max, can you move your for the audio listeners?
Oh. Yeah, so it's hard to tell because for some reason it flips it.
It doesn't. I don't know,
there
man.
It goes. It doesn't look like a sticker. It looks like it's painted behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it looks good. The title looks good. Just I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, and
we'll see what 2 words your daughter gives us for next week, and we'll see if that is a better name for a title.
Out of this.
I'm thinking it has something to do with Elmo and possibly whatever the guy who runs
Toy Story all day. All right.
Toy Story. Okay, so it's the Buzz Lightyear Championship.
All right, Craig.
All right. Number 4. Rumors and a few news outlets. I believe the Insider and Shoma Sapp, who reported that Wyndham, formerly known as Bray Wyatt, will be is more likely to head to Impact Wrestling after not showing up on AEW this past week. So obviously no more news on it, but is Bray Wyatt coming to Impact? Yes or no, Max?
Well, first off, I think it made more sense for him to come to Impact than AEW. They just added CM Punk and Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. Like at some point, there's just not enough space for everybody. So I think they're running into that. So I think it makes sense for him to come to Impact, especially with how well Impact does cinematic matches. I think that he could just him to create a character and to just put on cinematic type matches. I think that would be amazing. And I think he's interesting to me. I think Impact would be a great place for him, but it wouldn't surprise me if when he shows up at Impact, he is a character unlike anything we've seen from him already. Nothing like The Fiend, nothing like creepy Bray Wyatt, nothing like crappy Bray, like just a completely different character that he's come up with in his head that he wants to play. And I think if that's the thing that he wants to do, or if that's what he has in his mind is something like, hey, right, I have this idea, I think Impact is a better place for him to be than AEW. So I think this would be a good spot for him.
Good spot, yeah. I think it's 100% the spot he should go to. My concern is that he doesn't, because there's just something in me that is. Well, first of all, let's hit it on the head with the first thing. Everyone was saying he was going to return or show up at, what was it? Stadium or the Ash whatever the fuck.
Whatever the 8.
Yeah. And he didn't. But if you do the math, he couldn't unless he took a buyout and no one knew. You know what I mean? So the timing doesn't match up till October, which obviously matches up for us in Bound for Glory. But I think when you're in the position he's in, if he says, you know what, I want to show up AEW's pay-per-view, this what I'm going to go do. You know what I mean? I think he has that power and ability when it comes to money as well to take a buyout. Or get rid of the 90 days, stop taking their checks, and go whenever he wants, wherever he wants. Some argue with me and say AEW fans, oh, we didn't want him, but that feels very Buddy Murphy-ish, what they said about him. We just...
Buddy Murphy's about to take on Timmy Lou Retton, which is going to be match of the year, by the way.
Yeah, so... I don't know if it's a lock. I don't want to get excited that it's a lock and then it not be. I'm a big proponent of Bray Wyatt. I'm going to be honest, I didn't watch enough of the Funhouse and the Fiend stuff to know if that's the direction I still want him to take. But to come in here to a place that has had Undead Realms and all these other crazy things we've done, Lakes of Reincarnation, and you know what I mean? So all these different things, we are the place that lets the creativity, explore your creativity, as Max was saying. So I think it's a good fit. But now here's the storyline that I pitched last week, and I'm going to make it come full circle. You have DK, which is arguably the most over thing in Impact right now. Maybe not arguably. Maybe it is just fact. And what everyone says is, well, why is Sue building a stable with no guys? Wouldn't it be interesting, as if I said, and this is alleged, or not alleged, this is just me speculating. I said that Sue Young in real life, maybe she's pregnant. Okay, when we went to Slammiversary, she didn't wrestle. Then all of her segments from then on, she looked a little bigger as well. No judgment, but I wouldn't think nothing of it until she didn't wrestle that whole period we were there. I wouldn't have thought anything of it until they start doing these backstage segments where she's eating souls and they only show up to her chest. I wonder if she's pregnant and we need a wedding, the undead bride needs a wedding to manifest this child or whatever it is, and her new husband...
Is the child going to be Bray?
No, I think her husband's going to be.
Oh.
I could just see him in a Beetlejuice-like thing where they're having that wedding of the dead, and just wonder if she is pregnant in real life, and they use it as a storyline, and we get Bray. Now you're talking Decay versus whatever Bray builds with Sue. And I think that's pretty fucking cool. So there's things like that you can do that you couldn't do with the average person and you couldn't do with the average creative team that I think just makes this a match made in heaven with Wyatt and Impact.
So I will say the interesting thing or the funny thing with me about AEW fans is everybody that comes to AEW, they wanted to come to AEW. Anybody that doesn't, they didn't want to come. We didn't want him anyway. Like, and so, I mean, sometimes but sometimes you just gotta be like, oh man, we wanted that guy, we didn't get. Like, if Bryan Danielson would have walked through Impact's doors, I'd have crapped my pants. I'd have been so excited. But so I'm not. I didn't want him anyway. He's old enough to hit. Like, no, it's just funny to me that's the way they act. Like, whoever comes in, oh yeah, we wanted that guy, and everybody who doesn't, they're like, yeah, we didn't want him. In the interest
of fairness, there's some Impact fans that do that too. Oh, CM Punk. That's CM Punk.
Oh, I mean,
fuck off.
I would take CM Punk in a heartbeat.
Man, we always say it, one friend, one fan at a time. Yeah. We love you all, but knock that shit off.
It's I do have plenty of thoughts on people from AEW side, but I'll leave them as thoughts. And move on to the fifth and final. We have this coming weekend the 9th of October, Knockdown is returning on Impact Plus and Impact Insiders. Announced so far is a one night only tournament, an 8 knockout tournament to decide a number one contender for the Knockouts champion, featuring so far Lady Frost, Mercedes Martinez, Tasha Steelz, Chelsea Green, and Renee Michelle. Also, as revealed on this week's episode of Impact, Knockouts Tag Team Championships on the line, Decay defending against The Influence. How are we feeling about Knockouts Knockdown so far? Is this going to be... Given it's an Impact Plus, do you think it will get the attention it deserves? And how are we feeling about the lineup of it going? Give us only a week away, and this is the lineup so far. How are we feeling on this show? Max, your turn.
It's Jeff's turn.
All right. Yeah, 5. Yeah, that's me. At first I was skeptical on this whole idea, mainly just because I didn't want and maybe we're maturing, thank God, as a community, but I didn't want the IWC to be, oh, well, NWA just did that. You know what I mean about it? So at first I was just like, why are we doing that? Need this headache. But at the same time, it's just as I say about Kiera Hogan and Sasha Banks. There can be 2 companies that have 2 women pay-per-views, women's shows. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There doesn't have to be only one of that. There can't only be one black girl with purple or blue or whatever of the week it is. Hair. That's ridiculous and insane to think like that. So I'm happy that we're getting past that. I didn't see as much of that. Now, as far as it goes, we have Monsters Ball match, Gianna Surprise match, One Night Tourney tag title match. We got a lot going on there. And not to shit on anyone to lift us up, but as far as in comparison, what we're putting together here at Knockouts Knockdown is, I think, on the level, if not bigger, than what they did at NWA 73 or whatever, Empower. Excuse me. I like the lineup. And I like the people they brought in. The question I have is if there's a number one contenders tournament and it's won by someone that's not in Impact or signed to Impact, are we supposed to believe they have a shot at the title? Or, you know what I mean? Or is the number one contenders match, do they get to face her before Bound for Glory? So I just want to make sure that it's, hey, you are number one contender, but you can't challenge until after after Bound for Glory, excuse me. Something like that. I just want to make it clear on that, just because I hate when you waste a tournament or something for a number one contendership and then it just goes to the wayside. So I hope they make that clear. But I think it's going to be a banging show. The thing about it being on the Plus, I think if you're making a digital media title, and that's the direction you're headed, as most companies are or should be, fuck it. I mean, you got to double down on that. They gave us Victory Road, which was awesome. They gave us, come on, man, I was at the damn thing, can't even think of it. Emergence, but before that was Homecoming. They're upping their ante. Everyone. Victory Road was phenomenal. I'd put it on, of course, with any other pay-per-view. So I think they're building the rapport there to the point where, okay, let's have another banger so then more people start coming and watching. I think that's what they're building. And I would love to see the YouTube and app subscriptions since this has happened, since Victory Road, maybe before that. But I think they can only be gaining from it.
Is it also going to be on YouTube?
Yeah. Insiders and Plus.
Okay. So that's good as well. I am a little disappointed it's the same night as Fury Wilder 3. Boxing match. I think that's going to hurt some of the views, but we'll see. Honestly, I have no problem with them doing it similar to NWA. I mean, honestly, our commentary is going to be miles better than theirs was, because theirs was the drizzling shits. So we've got that going for us. In terms of can somebody not sign to Impact if they win? Can they be a legitimate threat? As long as the match is set for after Bound for Glory, yes, they can be a legitimate threat. If they're like, oh, we're gonna do it the week before Bound for that person's gonna get stomped into the ground. But Impact is the one company that doesn't matter what company a number one contender is from, they have to be taken seriously because they had Kenny Omega as their champion, Christian Cage as their champion, Finn Juice, potentially Bullet Club, who aren't going to be. So they're willing to put their titles on people who aren't signed exclusively to Impact. Yeah, so they have this history of doing it. So as long as you set it for after Bound for Glory, whoever wins can be built up to a big thing and you can get excited about it. I agree. If it's a week before Bound for Glory, then I'm just going to turn that match off when it comes on because it's absolutely worthless. I'm interested to see what happens with the Knockouts tag team title match because I kind of felt like the Influence may have been the next step for champions. And them getting their shot now makes me wonder maybe not. And then I'm also interested to see if maybe you get like a weird finish that maybe sets up for a rematch at Bound for Glory, possibly. Because I don't know. To me, it's weird that they have this match set up, and then you have to build a Bound for Glory. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's gonna be interesting. I always like, similar to the one night only pay-per-views or the one night only specials they would do. I think it's interesting to have something like this because you get a lot of people who aren't in Impact, and it's just exciting to watch a lot of people that you don't get to see all the time.
That's true. That's a great point. And what I like about it not being, though, the one night onlys was those felt like, oh, buy us for $9.95. You know, it was like a gimmick. This is continuity still, even though yes, the idea of it is all over the place. You know, or themed. There we go, themed. Here's quality and here's continuity and here's matches that we actually set up and not just thrown. So it's really nicely done and branded, which is big. I'm huge on. Here's the thing about the tag team titles is, if the Influence don't win, as you're saying, how do they make it feel important that we're now defending them again at Bound for Glory? I guess you could build something quickly with Sue and them. I saw Rosemary kind of commenting on some of Sue's posts as well. Or maybe one, I don't even know. But the question, and I'll pass it to you real quick, is doesn't it make more sense if the Influence, who are heels, go in with the tag titles and they face, if the Inspiration come in? And then that sets it up, right? Inspiration versus Influence.
So I was thinking that's a possibility. The thing is, so I haven't looked for spoilers, but a lot of times, like if something like this, if there would have been a debut, let's just say the Inspiration, is that their name? Yeah. If they would have shown up at this, I feel like in some way, shape, or form it would have leaked.
No, I'm not saying here.
So I think, I'm just saying, I think the best possible way for me to do it would be Decay wins. And at the end of the show, a promo hits with the Inspiration. That way, you could then build towards, or even if the influencers win, I think that's the way that you can build to Bound for Glory is by having, like, you have to bring in a team that's new. You can't have them face Rachel and
Jordan,
or like any of like you can't quick build in 3 weeks. It would have to be a debuting team who are like, oh my gosh, they're big. We want to get them a title shot. No matter who
I think it's more so going to be Decay wins and then defends it against four corners or something of that nature where they lose it. And then the Inspiration come out. Because as who is that? IO that point out? IO? Yeah. They probably want a grand entrance or at least a crowd that, you know what I mean? So they're not going to do it on a backstage segment. I think they're going to come out maybe at the end of whatever they set up. But yeah, I agree.
Is it possible that the Knockouts tag titles just aren't defended at Bound for Glory? You don't think? Okay, I wasn't sure if they were like using this as their defense and like debut the inspiration, and then build for them, and then build a feud between them and Decay.
Think you throw a Knockdown show, and then don't have your tag titles defended at Bound for Glory. It just seems counterproductive. But
yeah,
digital media. Who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah, I don't know, Craig. You're excited about this, I imagine. But what do you think it's looking like with the tag team titles? Do you think the Inspiration are still coming?
I keep going back and forth on it. I mean, if Impact are going after all these stars like Buddy Murphy, Bronson Reed, and the Inspiration, that's quite a lot of visas to pay.
Fair.
That's
the Inspiration. They may not need visas. Like
they do.
Billy.
No, yeah, they do. Yeah.
What's your name? I mean, what's your name's
He's
married
Canadian,
to Sean
bro.
Spears? Can you get a green card?
Yeah.
Is he? The motherfucker's Canadian? Since when?
Since he was born, man.
I thought he was from,
he's
Florida. Oh, then never mind.
Yeah, it's just I want to see Inspiration. I'm desperate to see Inspiration and Impact because they're fitting so well to that Knockouts division, man. Those titles should be made for the Inspiration. WWE had them with tag titles. They didn't care. They fucked it. Impact care about the tag titles. They're not just there for the sake of being.
I said it on Twitter on this week, man. For a while it was floundering and people were whatever, and then obviously Kiera left, so we thought it was going to shit was going to hit the fan. But they built a foundation. I mean, Jordan and Rachel, I could see doing their own thing, but coming together to be that tag team. They need a name, but if I don't know if the Hossettes, I don't know if that's just one or the other. Decay, I mean, Havoc and Rosemary, which I've been an advocate for since day one, like to get together. Now Kiera, who's I said is going to be the next James Storm, where she could just blend. She's a chameleon, man. She's now with Savannah Evans, and they're not missing a beat. Who else do we have? We have the Undead Brides, who haven't even wrestled together yet. We have maybe the and we have the Influence. They're building and branding tag teams in such a quick span that it feels like this happened overnight. But they put a lot of work into it, and so did those women, and we got to give them credit for that. But a lot to look forward to. I want to keep talking, but we'll try to stay on time here. What if Allison Kay and Marty Bell show up? Man.
You just don't like Allison Kay.
I'm with you on that. I'm
good.
Just no.
If you told me to take the two worst people during their Corgan era and put them in a tag team.
Oh.
No, that's not fair. That worst is such a bad term. I'm sure they're great. I just, not for me. I just don't like anything that reminds me of that era, to be honest, for the most part. Besides Decay.
What if Eric Young re-teams up with ODB and takes another run?
I would love to see ODB in VBD. We never seen her really that much heel, and it could work, but she would have to. It's a lot of work. Anyways, damn, that flew by. Getting our bearings about us, getting back. Max, will you be here with us next week as well?
Let me check to see what ODU. I don't think ODU plays.
Next week is Knockouts Knockdown. So we'll have to have something on Sunday or something. We'll figure it out. We'll keep you guys. Stay tuned, and we'll get you. Yes, I want Tessa to come back as well.
I will be. Yes, October 16th is the next time I will. All right.
So anyone want to be part of the team, hit us up. If not, just Craig and I, and that's cool too.
Okay.
But yeah. We got that coming this Saturday. Before that, you obviously have Impact on Thursday, 8 p.m., 8:30, whatever you watch it at. Check your local listings. Do people say that still? And then, obviously, Tuesday and Wednesday, as we went into, they will have the digital media tournament beginning on all of their platforms. Craig, can you send us off? And I'll cue us to the commercial.
Yep, so do the whole thing. Follow us here, there, and everywhere. You can see all of our social media handles below us on the screen. Drop us a follow here on Twitch if you don't already. If you're watching us on YouTube, then just take 2 seconds to click subscribe. It's a small little thing, but it helps us a lot. Just click subscribe. And obviously, if you listen to us on audio, thank you. But I guess we'll see you all next week for some more nonsense. Episode 61. We'll shoot at the same time, but we'll see when it falls around Knockouts Knockdown.
All right.
Different bad times, same bad channel.
There you go. I should have just cut on that, but I do have to introduce this commercial because I spent all fucking day on it. And it's not even the final draft. So you guys here who are watching live, you get to watch a little sneak peek of what will be, hopefully, something that goes around, kind of throwback to our tunnels and all those things we used to do. So stick around, watch that. And if you're on audio, please go give it a shout on YouTube or Twitter. I'll put it up by itself and tag Sam Beal in it because he makes an appearance, kind of. So, and then as Craig alluded to, 40% of you watch us. I hope we're winning you over one by one fan at a time, one friend at a time. But if you're not subscribed and you're watching this show and you like what you see, just hit subscribe. Trying to get to 300 before Bound for Glory. Here is a commercial about pins from the 90s. Enjoy.
The school year is back, and this year, it's gonna be da bomb. Not. Don't have a cow, take a chill pill, and get saved by the bell. Not that bell. This bell. With Impact Wrestling's 5 new collector pins, you could kick this school year right in the by channeling the teamwork of the Good Brothers.
What us is not only the best tag team in the world, fact.
Or become a leader like the instant classic Christian Cage.
Come back to the Impact Zone as the Impact World Champion.
Cause that's how you roll. No matter who you choose, each pin is limited to 125. They could be signed or unsigned, nicely crafted enamel, and professional, just like Brian Myers.
Because I'm the most professional wrestler.
Or put it on and feel the passion of Willie Mack.
A referee decides when I'm done, tell me when I can't go no more, when I know I got plenty left.
Or ooze with girl power and confidence like Deonna Purrazzo.
I'm the Virtuosa. I am the greatest technical women's wrestler in the world.
Collect all 5 and be the coolest kid in school. Order now at shopimpact.com. The pins are just pins, $19.95, and you get no true boost. Coming soon, Impact Pogs.